Texas boxing scene is here with the undefeated super bantamweight, Daniel Cortez, part of the San Antonio takeover of boxing. How's it going today, champ?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's doing good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's good to have you on. You're back in the ring for the third time in your professional career on November 18th on a Garcia Promotions card.
Yes, sir.
How's camp going? How you feeling? How you doing?
It's going good. Camp is going good. I'm training hard. Sparring good. Everything's going good. So I'm feeling good.
Now, obviously, you're from San Antonio. You're at the RGBA in Riverside, California, Southern California. But it's like a little piece of San Antonio with you, right? The Bam is out there, Josh
Yeah,
is there,
yeah,
Hector is
yeah.
there. What's it like to have all of those great San Antonio fighters with you in California, training with you every day?
No, it's good. It feels good to have people from San Antonio back home out here, and it feels great. It feels really great.
I wanted to ask you, you're out in camp every day with Panterita,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You guys look at each other. I know Bam's only 22, but Bam's not the future. Bam's the present, right?
yeah, yeah,
But do you and Panterita look at each other like, wow, we just, we're still teenagers. But
yeah,
like we're the future. Like we're the future of boxing. Like
yeah,
I mean, we have really big expectations on us.
yeah, yeah. We're the new guys, so we're really training hard to get there to where they're at right now, like Bam and all them where they're at.
I want I wanted to ask you about that, right? Because you're just a kid from San Antonio, just like Bam and Josh are kids from San Antonio. Mario
Yeah.
Barrios, kid from San Antonio. Working with Josh and Bam, being with them all the time, every day. Does it make it real? Like, okay, I mean, they did it. They're kids from San Antonio, just like me, and they got 2 world titles. Like, does it add a sense of reality? Like, this is real. Like, I can really get there. This is possible.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's man, it's great to have them right here, right by me, doing the same exact things that I'm doing things that they're doing. So it's like, and they're world champions now. So it feels great to have somebody, people right here by my side that it just shows that everything I'm doing is I'm on the right path.
Does Panterita being from Del Rio, does he get left out of the San Antonio love? Does he feel left out?
He's a part of the group. Yeah,
All right, so I want to talk. You're going to be on the card
yeah,
here in San Antonio. There's a lot of great San Antonio fighters on it. There's Melissa Holheen, the great
yeah,
13-time national champ women's fighter.
yeah.
But then there's the guys that you work with, Hector, Biggie. First, how's Hector looking? How's camp going with Hector?
I think Hector's back home.
Oh, is Hector back in San
Yeah,
Antonio?
Hector's training in San Antonio. Yeah, for this
Okay.
for this one. Yeah,
So Hector and Biggie are back in San Antonio. You're out
yeah,
in California.
yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about you turned pro back in May. Before we get into that, talk a little bit about your amateur career and the success you had as an amateur.
I've won a few tournaments as an amateur. I think I was just short of 60 fights. I had a decent amateur career. I wasn't really like I didn't really win all these national titles, but I've always had a pro style. So the amateurs didn't really benefit me too well. But now as a pro, I feel like my style has kicked in better, and now you're seeing more of my style now. Now that I'm in the pros. But
This and there's a big difference, right? Like you talk about college football, like this. There's pro style quarterbacks
yeah,
and
yeah,
college style quarterbacks. I mean, you're a pro style boxer. The way
yeah.
you rip punches on the inside and fight on the inside. Did you kind of know later in your amateur career that it's best to turn pro earlier on because your style is more fitting for the pros than it is the amateurs?
Well, I've actually known that since I was little. Actually, since like I had like early on, I've always known that I had a pro style, but I still had to work with the amateurs, still had to fight that way. But now that I'm in pros now, I feel good now.
You got off to a great start. Like I said, there's a lot of expectations around you. You made your pro debut. Was May, right? The Freeman
Yeah, man.
Coliseum
Yeah,
back in May on a Morona's boxing card. Shout out to Ricky
yeah,
Morona's, good friend of mine. Um, and you fought a real. I mean, 0-1 fighter who's now 0-2 after you beat him,
yeah.
but a really good fighter. He put Josh Montoya to a split decision. He fought you tough. Um, did you realize that you were in tough pretty much right away, or talk about? I mean, you got through it and you beat him up pretty good, but I mean, That's a tough guy that you were in the
No,
ring with, wasn't
yeah.
it?
You know, shout out to Daniel Duenas. He's a tough, tough opponent. He was a tough fighter, and it was my first one too. So, he gave me a good one. But, I think, he was a solid fighter, 5'10" lefty. You know, so that was a tough fight for a first one. But we did it enough to get the win. I learned a lot from that fight going into my second one. So yeah, I'm grateful to go through a challenge like that for my first one.
They took you out, not that he's the world, but they took you out to pretty deep waters for your first fight.
Yeah, yeah,
They didn't give you a tuna can, someone who's going to lay down for you. They gave you a real, like you said, a 5'10" lefty who was tough as nails, who's fought
yeah,
good fighters.
yeah.
What was it like the first time in the ring with someone that tough? Are you surprised he lasted? And what was it like, with the 8-ounce gloves and no headgear? And talk about the transition
Yeah,
for
and
professionals.
that's what that was actually more of like the change for me was the 8-ounce gloves. I would say, a lot of people talk about the no headgear, and that's what I was expecting to be more surprising, but I think the 8-ounce gloves are what shocked me the most, because like hitting somebody and getting hit by an 8-ounce is different. But not Daniel, I had caught him like the first round with like two flush left hooks, and he took him. I mean, he buckled, but he was still there. He was still standing. So that's when I knew that he was going to be a tough guy after that.
That you're known for your power, right? You're known for your inside fighting and your power. With the 8-ounce gloves, did your power surprise you? Like you're like, wow, my power is real with 8-ounce gloves.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. That's when I really saw my power kick in. When my first one, I didn't really, because the guy. I mean, I had fought a bigger weight class too, so he was taking him a little bit better. But my second fight, that's when I fought at my weight class, my actual weight class, and that's when I really started seeing my punches.
Can you hear me? Did you break up? Shoot. Shoot. You broke up for me on a second. You back? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. So you're talking about, all right, let's go back. We're back. We're good. Let's go back to we talked about your first fight. Duenas stood up to you. You got through the fight, with flying colors, but was the first fight a little tougher than you expected? Were you expecting some of the shots you hit him with? Were you expecting them to kind of go down?
Yeah. I had landed some flush ones that, I think would put anybody down, but he was still standing. So, shout out to him for being, a tough fighter.
So you come back a couple months later on another Moronis card, and this time you score a knockout. Really, really impressive win. Talk us through the second fight in August. And that was at the Techport Arena, correct?
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir. So, for that one, I think I was able to take more chances that one, because the first ones are always like you got to get through everything. You got to learn how it feels to get touched and how to hit somebody. And so going into my second one, I was more loosened up. I wanted to take a little bit more chances, and I was able to get him out of there in the third round.
So 2-0, one knockout. You back November 18th, again at the Techport Arena, which is a great little venue. If you guys are in San Antonio, make sure to check it out. No opponent named yet, or has there been an opponent named?
No opponent yet, no.
But it's going to be at 122, around 122.
Yeah.
What do you expect? Another knockout, or what have you working on, and what do you need to improve? What do you need to keep getting better on for, November 18th?
I'm just every day I'm trying to improve my craft, work on things that I need to work on. And, I don't go in there expecting a knockout. I go in there knowing what I can do. And if I can take them out, I'll take them out.
It's been a pleasure watching you so far. Obviously there's a lot of expectations on you. You're just 19 years old. How do you deal with the expectations, and that people kind of have with the success of Bam and the success of Josh and other fighters from San Antonio, that they're kind of expecting you to get to that world level, get to a world title? Is that a lot to handle at 19 years old?
There's a lot of pressure and stuff, but I try not to think about it too much, and I just try to just stay focused. Stay straight, stay focused, and just keep working. Just trust the process, basically.
Well, you're obviously in, a great camp, maybe the best camp in the country with Robert Garcia. How much has that been a guidance to you? How much, I know you've been with him for 8, 9 months now, right? You've
Yep.
been there for a while. How much of a help and how much of a guidance has, being in that camp with those fighters been to you in your early development?
It's a huge help. It's they've I'm all every day I'm around top level fighters. The coaches, they teach me something every day. They teach me little things that I would have never known. Just about everything in general. And I appreciate what they bring to the table now.
You're also in an extremely loaded weight class, especially loaded with fighters from San Antonio. We're talking about this a little bit off air. Biggie fights in and around that weight class. Henry Arredondo fights in and around that weight class. Ramon Cardenas is ranked 2, I think, in that weight class. What's it like to have all those great fighters at 122 from your home city?
No, it's great. It's great. They're showing me how I mean I get to watch them. See how it is, and I mean it's great to know that there's a lot of fighters around my weight. Yeah, tough guys, tough guys.
So, realistically, is there I mean, you're 19 years old. You're 2-0 end of the month. I know you don't look past any opponent, but you'll be 3-0. You're just 19. Is there like a time frame in mind, like 2 years, 3 years out? I want to be fighting world title, world class fighters, and I want to be a world champion by a certain age. Is there kind of like a blueprint, a timeline in mind, or like, what is your plan to get to that next level and the highest level?
We just want to take one fight at a time. Take one fight at a time. Make sure we're taking one down, and when it comes, it comes. When it comes, it'll come. Right now, we just want to focus on getting one guy out of there at a time, and hopefully soon, like when I'm on that level, and my coaches know that I'm on that level to shoot for, you know, bigger fights, then they'll let me know.
Now you fought all of your fights in San Antonio, but you fought them
Yeah.
at pretty big venues, and you've got a pretty big crowd behind you. What's that like so early in your career? Your first fight, your first 2 fights, to already have a fan base. You go to your fights, and you see everyone wearing Team Cortez shirts. What's it like to have that kind of hometown cheer behind you this early? Most people have to go 10-0, 12-0 to really start building up a fan base. You had it from day one. What's that like?
Oh, it feels amazing. It feels amazing that I have so much support in San Antonio. It feels amazing that I have all these people, cheering me on and everything, and it feels amazing.
You've given them their money's worth for sure through your first 2 fights. For those who haven't seen you yet, maybe they'll see you for the first time on November 18th. How would you describe your style in the ring?
I think I have a lot of power. I carry some power with me, good amount of power, and I think that plays a role. But I'm also I think I'm an exciting fighter for people to watch, because how I said in my last interview before my fight, just don't blink on my fights, just can't blink. So it brings a fan favorite style.
You did, and like I said, your first fight they matched you tough. Obviously they knew you were a special fighter. You weren't just a normal prospect making his debut. Are you glad that you got matched tough in your first fight? You didn't get a knockout, so you don't have the 100% knockout ratio. But were you glad that they gave you someone who could stand up to you and kind of make you work your first fight?
Yeah, I'm glad I got through somebody's like tough my first one, so that it breaks the ice for everything. At least now I know. It broke the ice for a lot of things. So I appreciate getting a tough fighter in my first one.
So 122, like I said, it's a loaded division. Great fighters at 122. Um, is there anyone like you kind of have your eye on in that weight class? Like, okay, a year from now, I want to be fighting this guy. Like, I kind of I want to call out this guy, or I have my eye on this guy, or I want to be fighting this guy in a year or two from now. Is there anyone in that weight class that you kind of have your eye on who you want to fight?
I'm sorry, I think it broke up.
Okay, it's all good. I said 122 is a loaded weight class. Tons of good fighters at 122. Is there anyone you have your eye on who you want to fight in that weight class? Who like you know, like okay, a year from now I want to be in the ring with that guy. Is there anyone specifically you want to fight?
Nobody yet. Nobody yet. I just nobody yet. Maybe when I start getting up there, then I can have people in mind. But yeah, nobody yet. Just whoever they put in front of me right now.
I want to ask you about that, right? You're 19, Pantarita is 17. Obviously, there's high expectations on the both of you. Is there a little friendly competition, a little internal competition, like who can get to a world title first between the two of y'all?
Yeah, no, nothing like that. I think I mean we're in the gym, we push each other every day. But yeah, I mean we push each other, all of us as a team, we push each other and yeah, I mean we want each other to go to those positions, you know? And I mean the sooner the better.
It's a great camp, and you guys have great fighters. So many fighters from San Antonio and Texas. Is it is there as much love as it looks like? Because it looks like everyone is all on one accord. Everyone like a lot of brotherly love in there. Is it you know is it is it that kind of atmosphere where everyone just pushes each other and is happy for each other?
Yeah, yeah. Every day, everybody gets a great relationship. So we push each other. We're always, motivating everyone to do better. In sparring and the training and the workouts. We're always pushing each other to do more.
And it's certainly working, right? Like iron sharpens iron, and that gym keeps getting better and better, and keeps turning out more and more world champions.
Yeah.
Um, so tell me about how you got, like, how did you end up at RGBA? How did you get in contact with Garcia, and how did you end up there?
Yeah. So they've known about me since I was an amateur. They followed my amateur career and they've always liked my style, my because I have a pro style since I was little. So they've always liked my style and I've actually um I've met Robert a couple of times since I was little and they've known about me. And so when it was time to go pro, they stayed in touch. We stayed in touch and so they reached out. They asked me, so that's how I'm here now.
How do you like it out there in California? Is it a big difference, big culture shock, or how do you like? I mean, I know you got a bunch of your San Antonio crowd with you, but
Yeah.
what's it like being? How do you like it out in California?
No, it's definitely a culture shock. It's a lot different than San Antonio, but I like it out here. I like it out here.
And you got a lot of San Antonians. You got a lot of San Antonians with you, right? It's not just you. Got Bam, you got Josh, Hector's out there, Biggie's. You got a lot of guys from San Antonio in your team to kind of help, you know, to make it, make that transition because, like I said, it is big change to 19 years old to go from San Antonio to California.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I think it broke up.
Oh, it's all good. I think it's just is it nice having all those San Antonio fighters with you in camp? Does it help transition you from home, to California? Can you hear me okay?
I I can't really hear too much.
You can't hear it too much?
Okay, there it goes. There it goes. I hear
All
you
right.
now.
I was asking you, is it, is it helpful? Is it useful to have, is it good to have all your fellow San Antonians, Josh, Bam, all those guys out with you, help transition from California to from San Antonio to
Yeah,
California? Does it help with the transition?
yeah. It's good. It was easier to transition out here because I have people from San Antonio, so that they had already went through it, so they helped me out with that the transition, and it's also crazy here because everybody in the house is from different parts of the United States, so it's
Oh, is
cool.
that the house behind you? Is that behind you?
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the house
famous
behind.
house. All right.
Yeah,
A
yes, sir.
lot of world champions have stayed there, and we got
Yes,
another one, a future one, in Daniel Cortez. Um,
sir.
want to ask you about two of your stablemates there. Josh has a fight coming up on December 31st, and
Mhm.
Bam has vacated his world title and it's going down to 112. How are they going to do in their next fights? I know Josh is fighting Ioka, and
Yes.
how are they going to do?
No, they're gonna do great. Josh is looking like a beast. I'm one of his main sparring partners right now. So, he's looking like a beast. He's strong. He's sharp. So, he's gonna do great. Bam's always sharp. He's always, the way you see him on his fights. So they're gonna do great.
Daniel Cortez, 2-0 super bantamweight prospect. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege to get to talk to you. November 18th, you're back in the ring. How can people get tickets? And if you're out in San Antonio, how can they come see you? How can they get tickets to your fight?
Yeah, you can contact me at team_Cortez on Instagram, and you can get a hold of me for tickets. Any tickets y'all need for the fight.
It's not just Daniel Cortez. You got Panarita on the card. You got Hector Tanahara in the main event. You have Melissa Holleen. You have Viggy Rodriguez. You have a loaded card of San Antonians. It's going to be a great night of boxing. Daniel Cortez. Tell everyone where they can find you on social media, and it's been an honor and a privilege talking to you.
Yes, sir. You can follow me on Instagram at team_Cortez and Facebook Daniel Cortez. So y'all can find me on there.
If you've not seen him yet, you have to check him out. Hard-hitting 122-pounder. God bless, and good luck on the 18th. I'll be there.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, champ.
Sure.